Hey, it's Andre, and it's time for another Flying Friday update. And this week actually started off really nice. Tuesday and Wednesday's weather was phenomenal. In fact, I got out flying Wednesday, and I want to say that the EDF project was a success. Second throw didn't go quite as well, so I'll fix that up. But the first one, if you check out the YouTube channel, it flew, and it was fun. Only 3 minutes, so I was pushing the 2260-50 4S. Now, when I started reading about the theory on thrust tubes, is that a narrow tube is great for speed, but if you widen it out, you get more thrust, and you reduce the pressure and increase the efficiency of the motor, which is basically what this airplane is looking for, I think. It is a bit of a football throw, but if there's more thrust versus speed, it will go, because when I was flying and I dropped it down to 50%, it was really agile. I did a couple rolls, it looked great, it landed great. That painter stick is a big key to making that thing all rigid and stiff. So I'm going to knock off 1 inch off the tube, fix the wing up, and we're going to try it again. After that, I'm going to work on the efficiency of the tube, and I want to, if I can find a way to drop the weight on this thing a little bit more, I'd be really happy. I don't think I want to change the wingspan, because I think the wingspan makes the plane really agile and really handle well. The tail and rudder and elevator setup, well, there is no rudders. The elevator really works well. So I'm happy that it flew, and we'll get some more airtime out of it and have some fun with it. But so Mike Finley, oh, you rock, man. Thank you. This project kept me energized and focused throughout February when the weather was horrible. So hopefully things will improve weather-wise, and we'll get past this little hump of freezing rain and stuff. So, in the mail this week, we got a couple items in. Little Eachine, or well, I don't know how you want to say it. Anyhow, it's a 200 milliwatt micro transmitter. Here we go. Powered anywhere from 7 to 14 volts, I believe. And it came with a little 3S connector. I didn't realize it. I lopped the darn thing off. Anyhow, so it's right now I've got it plugged into one of my light posts. It's going to, when it's on board the quadcopter, it's going to be all hooked into a filter system and everything, so the power will be all metered and everything. It's impressive, actually. This camera is got some really good resolution. I was testing it earlier without, right now I've got the LED light on me, but without it, and I was getting some very nice color tones. I had a red sweater on, and it turned out really nicely. I guess I should have been rolling on the FPV gear to give you an example, but it does the job, and I'm impressed. This is going to go on my quad, as I said, but this little 200 milliwatt transmitter is tiny. I mean, like the other 200 milli I have, but it's got a push button set up for the channels, so you can see the little red lights indicating what the channels are on. Band 4, channel 4, so that's 5800 on the Fat Shark band. And compared to the Fat Shark 250, I mean, there's a special size. Even better, this thing has got a 5 volt voltage regulator. So that the little camera is only 5 volts, and it's got like about 110 field of view and stuff like this, and a lot of line resolution as far as I'm concerned. Really good, so it should be nice in the contrasts and the colors. But it also means if I wanted to, I could take my second Fat Shark with the SD card or the micro SD card and record video from that. But this camera is going to have the gimbal and everything. So really impressed. Looking forward to seeing how this thing performs out in the field. Everything's going to be line of sight, but it should be really nice, and it's compact and light, which is what I want on the camera copter we're building. Speaking of, the gimbal showed up, and I ordered this back in January as well. It was $60. They've actually come out now with a lighter weight version, about 100 grams. The caps that go over top of the brushless gimbals are now been hollowed out and everything. So, if you're looking for one, basic. It's only 2 axes. 3 axes are just way too expensive for what I'm trying to do and testing and learning. But it does the job. The only issue I had with mine initially was the sensor was upside down, so it went crazy. I do have my GoPro on it. Normally I would be running the Turner-G camera on it, but we'll see what it's like when we go flying. Maybe I'll run the GoPro while I'm experimenting with the tricopter, or the quadcopter, sorry. So here we go. We're going to fire this thing up. It takes about 10 seconds for it to balance, and my little rig. There we go. And now I can go up, move it around. So if the copter's moving around, it's nice and fluid, does its job, and it should be really smooth. I can't wait to see some of the footage. And I do have my remote. So, and on the remote I've set up two throws in pot 1 and pot 2. So there's pot 1, so I can roll one of the axes. I'm not really going to use this very much. I think this will be just fine tuning. But they are switched. This one I'll use a lot more, especially when I want to pan down and get some more ground perspective shots. I've had to limit it because if you go too far it starts shaking around and everything, but you know, you can still get a pretty decent perspective. See that? A little bit of shimmy. So I'm going to give myself some limits and trying to program it. I haven't touched any of the control settings in there. So none of the programming, none of the plugging into USB yet. So that'll be another area to explore. Other than that, the Wraith is coming back online. I've got an override kit that came in from a fellow enthusiast for the T1000. I'll do something about that once it's all set up and cleaned up. The Wraith is kind of being re-evolved and made sleeker and cleaner and everything. And the Bixler is back, ready to go. Basic FPV, nothing too crazy. It does have the OSD on board and everything, and the 433 just for safety, because last year's 2.4 stuff was just too glitchy for my comfort level. So hoping this weekend turns out to be really nice. We're in the middle of a freezing rain warning, so I don't know about Saturday, Sunday if it goes. I got to get the EFX racer out and get some more time under my belt, 3S, 4S, because Chris and the Flight Test After Hour guys really want to get me on the podcast talking about that plane and my experience with it. Sorry for missing the last couple of podcasts. My wife and I were away and we just couldn't make it the scheduling work out with and poor Wi-Fi. So hope to see you guys out in the field this weekend. Have fun flying. Thanks.